Okay, so Skanska, you launched the Skanska Advanced Technologies, or SAT for short, I guess, earlier the year. Just be good to understand if you can tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, we had launched that, really looking at, kind of our overall expertise in semiconductor and high-tech manufacturing. I've been working in that group for 25 plus years with Skanska, and so really just with the explosion of the industry there, we really wanted to focus on that high-tech semiconductor based on our long-term experience that we do have and really kind of leverage our best practices and provide clients with the best practices for success.
Okay, and obviously the launch happened earlier the year, but I think as recently as this week, or was it last? I can't remember. You also announced the expansion of SAT. So, what have you added, and how does it benefit your customers?
Yeah, I think with the really where we're seeing the additional work around AI, we're seeing so many more data centers. And so instead of just really kind of that high tech manufacturing in the semiconductor fabs, we added in the data center market as well to really be able to respond to the changes and work with those national clients across different areas in the US and not just really rely on our regional capabilities. And just with the all of the work that we've been able to do both in the high tech semiconductor data center markets, it really just made sense to combine them all into one group.
Okay, and then we're going to have a bit of a talk about Semicon West, which is just around the corner. First time in Phoenix, Arizona. So, are you anticipating? As far as you know, do you think it'll be a sort of different type of show at the event? You're looking forward to a new venue. Just talk us through what you think Phoenix is going to bring.
Yeah, I've been to Semicon West many times, and it's really exciting to have it in Phoenix, where it's really just such a hot spot, especially for all things kind of semiconductor. And, I think it's going to bring a different energy and kind of this renewed focus. And we've been seeing that the last couple of years as there's just so many more things happening in the US. And so it's really going to be exciting to see people that we've been working with for the past 30 years, but also all the new players in the industry as well.
And in terms of what you as an organization expect, is there anything particularly you expecting to get out of the event? You go because you have to be there, or you've got sort of some plans and strategy as to what you want to get out of the event? Tell us a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things. It's definitely a highlight of the year that we like to go to. Really, and this year it's different for us just having that now and really kind of talking about our expertise in pre-construction and how we're, managing budgets and planning and data-driven insights, I think is really important for us and partnering with those whether it's subcontractors, clients, design firms, vendors. It's such a great opportunity when everyone's there in one location to be able to really focus on that and looking at the whole value chain.
Okay, and maybe just looking at some of the industry's sort of current challenges, which I guess some people call them challenges, other people would call them opportunities. I always call them the three S's. We've got sustainability, supply chain, which I guess is onshoring, reshoring is relevant to that, and skills. So just be good to understand what Skanska as an organization is doing in terms of sort of internally around any or all of those, and also how you're able to help your customers with their own objectives in these areas.
Yeah, I think with the onshoring, I mean, obviously there's so many more fabs within the US, right? And so just the construction needs has changed so much. And so how do we really have that focus on fabs and data centers and tying into sustainability, right? Because we know that we need so much more power and water to be able to build these. So really looking at how are we building differently with low carbon concrete, recycled steel, and looking at different ways to reduce the environmental impact, and making sure that we're looking at how can we have just non-off-gassing polymers when we're installing clean room equipment and materials, and doing things that are really looking at those strict contamination controls that the customers need, but how do we build construction in a different way? So I think it's, how do we look at building differently to make sure that we're hitting those sustainability goals?
Okay, and it'd be good to understand. I mean, it sounds like you mentioned the data centers. I know I do some work in the data center industry, so I know how much that part of the market is exploding with AI coming on, into the mainstream, shall we say?
Right.
But it'd just be good to understand whether it's that specifically is keeping you busy, what else is in terms of now and into the future, and if you've got any sort of technology plans, new products, or if it's these different applications. And I mentioned that. I mean, is AI relevant to yourselves, or are you just providing the facilities that then house the AI? Just what you can tell us about what you're up to at the moment, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, AI, I think is all over, and it's, exponentially increasing in both the need for data centers, but also how we do construction. And so how do we build smarter, and just be able to be more efficient and more effective with the use of data? So, instead of having someone spend a lot of time doing something, we can quickly put it into AI and look at how we're going to build differently. How do we do contracts faster, right? How do we make sure that just some of those types of things are quicker? But also we're seeing just on the construction side, especially on data centers, of just the liquid cooling infrastructure, and how do we use some of those to be able to quickly start up data centers, and looking at how we construct data centers differently as well.
Okay, and the theme of First Semicon West is stronger together, which I guess is hinting or suggesting that collaboration is important for the industry. It'd be good to understand how important it is to yourselves in terms of developing, whether it's technology, supply chains, just what your thoughts as to collaboration, which seems to be gaining in momentum.
Yeah, I mean, the technology industry is so fast paced, right? It's all about really speed to market and making sure that we're hitting those dates. And so the construction has always been so fast. And so for us, it's so important to partner with those reliable subcontractors and have those relationships and getting that work started quickly and moving forward. We do a lot of work with offsite manufacturing, which really helps with safety, predictability, but also when we're looking at labor, where, when you think about, Phoenix is a hot spot. And so how do you get labor? Well, if we can do offsite manufacturing in different locations in the US where maybe there isn't as much construction there, right? So being able to look at how do we do that in a different way. And then also making sure that we have the right people on site at the right time. And we have a lot of owner furnished, contractor install vendors, and how do we work with them, and making sure that we have that speed and knowledge and predictability to get the facilities started up quickly to meet those clients' needs.
Okay, maybe just in terms of some sort of final thoughts around the event itself, when you've outlined how important collaboration is there and touched on sustainability and stuff. Is there anything in particular you think it's important for visitors to come to yourselves to find out about, because as you say, the technology space moves very quickly. So, what was received wisdom, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago probably is very old fashioned or whatever. Just anything you think it's important for folks to understand when it comes to what it is you bring to the semiconductor space.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that we've done is we've been in this space for so long, right? I mean, we've been in really kind of the semiconductor space for over 30 years and been able to see kind of the changes in the growth. And so having that kind of long running expertise, but really being able to collaborate and work with local companies and national companies to be able to expand work and quickly change on some of those, construction methods and how we do that. So I think it's just going to be really exciting to see where the industry continues to evolve, and working with all of those partners, long-term and new partners as well.
Okay, I mean, it's been lovely to chat, and thanks so much for giving us an insight into what's going on at Skanska, both in terms, obviously, of the new launch and also some of the issues that you're looking at the moment in the space. So, Katie, really appreciate it, and hopefully might bump into you at the event. It's not far away. Thanks very much.
Yeah, no, thank you very much.